All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. Look, man, these boxing media people get on my dang nerves, man. And I'm out there on Twitter going at them, having a fun time on Twitter. I didn't really know, man, that I can be a Twitter troll, man. I got my own channel on YouTube. Thank you guys for supporting so much. But I'm out here on this Twitter thing, man, talking to some of these journalists. And let me tell you, and listening to what they're saying, these guys are trying to throw Deontay Wilder under the bus again ahead of this Luis Ortiz fight. Let's talk about it in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Thank you so much to my Patreons and the live stream community for all your support. Make sure you come to OG Boxing Talk on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with myself, my co-host, Blood Boxing, Trap House Boxing, Curtis Anderson, and the singing OG, KQKC. All right, let's roll with this. I'm out on Twitter and I run into something Dan Rayfield says and something that Steve Kim says. All right, so Steve Kim, he writes for The Ring and various other outfits, and Dan Rayfield is I think he's exclusively ESPN writer, been ESPN writer for years. I think more highly of Dan Rayfield than I do of Steve Kim, because I think Steve Kim is just, I just don't have any time for Steve Kim. No appreciation for the man and his opinions about boxing at all, because I think the dude, in my opinion, the dude is totally bought, forward, and paid. But at least I know for sure that Dan Rayfield is, because he works for ESPN. So, two things, and both of these things are designed to take legitimacy away from Deontay Wilder. This Lineal conversation I had a conversation with Dan Rayfield about the Lineal championship, and the guy doesn't know, either he is straight up not telling the truth, or he has no idea what the Lineal championship is, or what I believe he's doing is purposely conflating the Ring Magazine title and the Lineal title. And just coincidentally, I'm sure, making an ESPN fighter, Tyson Fury, the real heavyweight champion. So do you get me? You have an ESPN writer telling you that an ESPN fighter is really the heavyweight champion and not the fighters that do not fight for ESPN. And the justification is that for him being the Lineal champion is the Ring Magazine said he was Lineal champion. It seems like a very, very self-serving argument, and the result of it is that Deontay Wilder, despite being a heavyweight champion before Tyson Fury, remaining heavyweight champion ever since then and to this day, is somehow a lesser fighter or a lesser accomplished fighter than somebody that has not beaten a top heavyweight in at least 4 years. But that is to be expected. That's what they've been doing for a while. What Steve Kim did, though, is taking a page out of the book of AJ troll channels. Okay, do you remember before, when AJ was doing his thing before he got knocked out, knocked down 4 times, beat up against Andy Ruiz and lost his belts? Do you remember how they used to talk about how many tickets he sold, how he was selling 100,000 tickets in Wembley, how he's doing, this, that, and the other thing? And they would always point to Deontay Wilder's ticket sales. They would go in and pull out these pictures of like 2 weeks beforehand and claim that Deontay Wilder wasn't selling any tickets. Once the crowd was announced that there was there was like 17,000 people announced for his fights, they would then say, well, he only really sold 5,000. The other 12,000 were given away, and all of that crap. And they were cutting prices. They were doing all of this, right? And we've heard rumors, sources say that it did X and will be coming. X means it did 6,000, for example, and we'll be letting you know when we get the official numbers from the state of California, but an insider told me, but then they never come out with those numbers. Ever come out with those numbers. But yet, when you have fights that flop, right, they clearly flop where the whole place is empty on DAZN, right? You see seats where they just pan in, or ESPN, like Tyson Fury's fights, where they pan in so close to the dang on stage to make it look full that you can only see four rows back, right? They don't say anything about the fact that this guy had 3,000 tickets, that he sold 3,000 tickets in a place that holds 20. But for Deontay Wilder, let me tell you what Steve Kim does. Steve Kim just flat lies and says, oh, you're telling me that Deontay Wilder is some elite draw, and while they're slashing tickets prices to his fights. And I was like, what? They're slicing tickets but they're slashing tickets to his fight. So what I do is, because I know I'd never take anything these guys say at face value, especially like Dan Rayfield did when they're talking about, or ESPN, when they're trying to sell this Lineal line. You've got to actually go look at all the dates, all of the publications, all of the things that were written about the fights that they're talking about. And what you will find is exactly what I knew to be the case back then, because I was watching boxing. The reason why Vladimir Klitschko was listed as being the ring champion and not Vitaly Klitschko, and why they pushed this Lineal, had nothing to do with him fighting Shagayev or fighting Ruslan Provodnikov, who some people are pulling that out of their backside. It had nothing to do with Vladimir Klitschko's layoff. Vitaly Klitschko's layoff between 2004 and 2008. And it had everything to do with the fact that the two guys were brothers and they couldn't fight. So if they were going to name somebody that was going to be the number one heavyweight, it had to be one of the two, and you had to come up with some reason to give it to one over the other, because they're brothers and they couldn't actually fight. That was it. We had countless debates at the time about that, but you would have to go back. You'd have to have been there and been actively involved in the conversations, or you'd have to go back and look at the original, all of the comments and the things that took place at that time, to find out that they're lying about it now, that they're engaging in revisionist history. So I never take what they say at face value. But with Steve Kim, so when Steve Kim said they were reselling or they were slashing ticket prices for Deontay Wilder, I said, you know what? Let me go look at the ticket prices to see if this guy's telling the truth. I went to two sites, and you can do it for yourself. At this time, it is 11/16, November 16th, and it is 1:30. I looked at about 10:30 this morning. What I saw was that on MGM, at the site that sells the ticket for MGM, that there was no tickets available under $350. They had two seats together in the section that was furthest away from the ring, and they were $350 a piece, which was the original listed low price for tickets. The original tickets range from, when they announced the fight, the announced tickets prices range from $350 a ticket to around $1,500 a ticket for things on the floor. On MGM site, after Steve Kim claimed they slashed the prices, I went to that site, and the two farthest seats away from the ring cost $350 a pop. There were no tickets available under $350 on that site. So I said, well, maybe he's looking at a different site. And what I do is I go to StubHub. Now, I can't go chasing every website, every secondary ticket market anywhere. So I said, let me do a search for tickets that are between $340 and $0, right? There were resale tickets, about 200 resale tickets that were available between $140 and $350 in an arena that seats 20,000. So, what percentage is 200 of 20,000? Well, 10% is 2,000, and that would make 1% of all the tickets available. 1% of all the tickets available the time that I checked were available for on resale for under $350. Would you consider that them slashing prices, slashing ticket prices? Now we're a week out from the fight, and there were 200 tickets on StubHub that were available below the 350, and they, by the way, were all nosebleed seats. None of those were tickets. None of them were tickets on the floor, on the lower tiers and the floors. Where did Steve Kim get this? Why would Steve Kim claim that Deontay Wilder is not an elite level draw because 1% of the tickets that were available resale were below the advertised prices, but on the actual site, none of them were? The answer is he made that shit up. That's the answer. He made it up. I asked on his Twitter page, can you please let me know the site where you see this massive reduction in prices? I did, however, remember a scenario where that happened. And that was Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz in New York, where you could see for the week before tickets slashed by 30%, tickets slashed by 50%, just slash, because there were so many seats available. Now, here's the thing. When you get closer to fights and people are holding tickets and some tickets aren't sold, they will slash the price of tickets. I think that's just a normal occurrence. People will buy tickets later and they're looking for lower prices. People that gambled and bought their tickets with the purpose of reselling them might be willing to cut their loss and sell the tickets for a little bit less. That's just ticket sales, period. But Steve Kim doubles down and says that no, elite draws. So like Canelo Alvarez, look, just because you don't sell as many tickets as Canelo Alvarez does not mean you're not an elite draw. There is not 5 fighters in boxing that are bigger draws than Deontay Wilder. Not 5, okay? Of all the boxers that are selling tickets anywhere, there are not five that are bigger draws than Deontay Wilder. Manny Pacquiao, maybe. Canelo Alvarez, maybe. Errol Spence Jr., maybe. And no is really the answer to that, but I'm just throwing his name out there. So Manny Pacquiao, Canelo Alvarez, Anthony Joshua in the UK, if you want to say Anthony Joshua. Is Errol Spence, because he was in Dallas, maybe Errol Spence. That's it. So out of all the fighters that sell tickets all around the world, there's only 4 or 5 guys that sell more tickets than Deontay Wilder. How is he not an elite draw? That's like saying if you are the number 5 pound for pound fighter in the world, you're not an elite fighter because you're not number 1. That's them trying to tear at Deontay Wilder's reputation like they've been doing for a long time in favor of other fighters like Inoue and garbage like that. But I couldn't get out of here without talking about that. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.